In this tutorial I will be explaining how to cast off purlwise and how to sew up the dog's ears. And here I have 12 stitches to cast off. So begin by purling the first 2 stitches, like so. Using the point of the left needle, lift the first stitch over the second stitch on the right needle. So take the left needle into the back of the first stitch on the right needle and lift this stitch over the second stitch like so to slip the stitch off the needle, and then pull the yarn. So once again, purl the next stitch. So you have 2 stitches on the right needle, then use the left needle like so to lift the first stitch over the second stitch. And this is how you cast off purlwise. And then simply continue casting off all the stitches like so. I have jumped forward slightly and I now have 2 stitches left to cast off. So purl the last stitch like so, then slip the first stitch over the second stitch, leaving 1 stitch on the right needle. Make the loop a little bigger like so, and then leaving a long length of yarn, cut the yarn and then simply draw it through the stitch like so and pull it tight. The dog's ear is now ready to be sewn up. With the dog's ear, one side is slightly narrower than the other side. So the side which has the cast off edge is slightly narrower, and that is the inside of the dog's ear, and then the side which has the cast on edge is ever so slightly wider, and that is the outer side of the dog's ear. Also, one side is ever so slightly longer than the other side, and that just helps when attaching the dog's ear to the head. So what you need to do is fold the dog's ear in half, placing the inner side on top of the outer side like so. And then what you'll notice is that the inner side is ever so slightly shorter than the outer side, like so. Then, using the tail end of yarn, thread that through a sewing needle, like so. And we're going to use this yarn to sew the side seam. Sorry, I'll just try that again. So, to sew the side seam, we're going to once again be looking for the loops and knots along the seam, and we'll be using those to join the seams together. So just going to look for the first loop on this side, which will be this loop here. Take my needle under the knot and out through the next loop like so, and pull the yarn through. Then over to the other side, we're going to go into this loop here, under the knot, like so. And once again, pull the yarn through. Then we're going to go into the same loop we just came out of here, under the knot, like so, and pulling the yarn through. Then once again, back over to the other side, into the loop, under the knot, like so, and pull the yarn through. Then once you've done a few stitches, simply pull the yarn tight to join the seam together, like so. Then you need to continue all the way around the seams. When you get to the bottom of the ear, just take the yarn under these stitches, back out to the other side, and then continue joining the seam all the way around to the top. And here is a completed ear that I sewed up earlier. So as you can see, starting at the top here, the inner part of the ear is slightly shorter than the outer part of the ear. And then you can see how I've neatly joined the seam all the way along. And then once again taking the yarn underneath the bottom of the ear, back round to the other side, sewed up that seam to the top. And here we have a completed dog's ear. So that would be the inner side of the ear, and that would be the outer side of the ear, like so, which is now ready to be sewn onto the dog's head.